There hasn't been a day where I go without thinking about golding Vita Mimic because I enjoy him as a character. He's pretty fun sometimes when he's not bad. I don't think Vita Mimic is insanely strong. Not to say that he's weak. I think he's perfectly balanced. I don't think there's anything wrong with him. There's nothing really wrong with him at all. I think his stats are perfectly fine. Anything more or anything less would make him a little too strong and pretty much just ruin his entire flow. He's balanced and I enjoy that. So I would like say that V-Mimic is probably one of the coolest monsters that has ever come out, in my opinion, right? I always like when it takes into the role of more human characters, right? Because Vita Mimic is the one thing that resembles a human the most. And also, Vita Mimic on release was pretty scary. It was a very strong character, especially considering that when he did release, they had a new map, which was the little backrooms map. I didn't like that map. I thought that map sucked. It was probably for the best that they got rid of it, because that map was so confined. It was like, why does it exist? They could have definitely redone it and made it better for sure, but nah, just burying the hatches is fine. I would say that Vita Mimic is probably the scariest monster to me. I don't know what it is. It's just something about him is just very frightening to me. Going up against one always has me shivering in my boots. You know, I'm just quivering at this point. He's just scary for me for some unknown reason. I just think I find myself more scared of human characters more than actual monsters, which is weird. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Vita Mimic has two abilities, which are Elder Ascension, which allows Vita Mimic to coat himself in a very, very dark skin to the point where he's practically invisible. He's just translucent at that point. So you can just barely see him, which is why having a flashlight on you when you're going up against one is always very advised. If you can find a flashlight, save it for as long as possible, because Vita Mimics, when they Elder Ascend, can be very hard to see. In Elder Ascension, you can also, your sprint speed will also be increased to the point where you can, I think, outrun a survivor. I don't really pay attention to the sprint speed that well, but I'm pretty sure you are a bit faster than a survivor, which can make you able to, you know, catch up to them very easily. You mostly just ever use this for speed, if I'm being honest, just to catch up to monsters, survivors much easier. Sometimes I use it for stealth, but it's rare occasions. I only ever use this just so I can catch up to people, especially when players are more competent now, so they really do see me coming. So I usually just like sprint at them, and then when they do anticipate me and they see me that I'm coming, I just let them run away and let them burn their stamina, because then when I hit them and I come out of Elder Ascension, I can chase after them, knowing full well that they won't have the stamina to be able to recover and survive. Vita Mimic's hitbox is really small, kind of like Rosemary's, but it's big, a little bigger. It's pretty easy to juke, which is usually the only way you can survive if a Vita Mimic Elder Ascends at you. You really just have to juke it out and pray that you don't get hit. Either that or just bait a Vita Mimic into hitting you. That way you can get some distance, because they are not faster than you, not at all. They are slightly slower than you. So you can, you know, outpace, get some stamina back, outpace, and repeat. The Vita Mimic will only ever be able to catch up to you with Elder Ascension, and they can, you know, use that to their advantage, because they can cut you off very effectively, and you will be so focused in one direction that they'll come from behind you and, you know, kill you. Vita Mimic is a very interesting monster, by the way, with the way his mechanic works. He is a hunter. His passive works where you will do more damage to players that are alone. I thought that was really cool, and it makes sense because that's a part of the lore. they usually tend to go for people that are by themselves. That way they can get quicker meals. So yeah, it's best to stick near other people, so that way you can sacrifice them to the mimic. As much as I don't want to say that, usually you will end up having to sacrifice the person next to you. Either that or just keep around them, so that way if the Vita mimic sneaks on you, you get hit, you won't take as much damage. But Vita mimic's damage will also grow over time as he kills people. That can reach a maximum of 30, which means he can 4-shot. This can also be increased further with Animalistic Instinct. This will allow Vita Mimic to, he'll just sniff out the area, sniff out the area to see his surroundings, and he will highlight anyone in his current eyesight, which means anybody that he sees, or anybody that's in his point of view, not behind any walls or anything, he will be able to sniff out and highlight. You'll just barely see the little red highlights of it. It's pretty dark, so you do have to look closely for it. Anybody that is, highlighted with Animalistic Instinct will take bleed damage when you hit them. Bleed will drain their HP fast. And by fast, I mean fast. 2 good hits and they're going to go bone broken just from bleed alone. It's stupid strong. Very, very strong. So getting hit by a Vita Mimic can be very deadly, and you have to try and avoid that at all costs. Because if one's on you, they're probably not going to get off of you until you're dead. Because they're hunters. The best way I can say to play Vita Mimic is very simple. Know how a survivor will act. If you don't understand how survivors act, then you won't be able to kill as flowfully as possible. You have to learn to read survivors easy. Vita Mimic is very much about precision, being very, intelligent with the simplicity and, basic attacks that you have, the basic abilities that you have. It's just a matter of how well do you know a survivor. How well do you know them to anticipate their jukes? How well do you know them to burn their stamina? It's just playing into the eyes of the survivor. Make them think what they want to think, Make them have a false sense of safety, Make them believe that they're going to live. Lead them into their demise. Basically, just what the Mimic does in general. Just hunt and kill. Be smart. Use your stamina wisely. I wouldn't recommend just using Outer Ascension and then immediately attacking the survivor as soon as you see them. Go for the survivor that you seem is the most intelligent, because Vita Mimic, like I said, is pretty slow. He can get outpaced, and his stamina is that of a survivor. So it's just recommended that you use Outer Ascension wisely. While it does come back pretty quickly, I would say, it's a very not long ability. It doesn't last forever, so you should really use it to the better of your advantage. Not just so that way you can catch a Dell player, but so that way you can, pick out who you want to kill. Go for the players that you think are the most intelligent, so that way you can make it easier on yourself for killing the rest of the lobby. It makes it much easier. And if they do burn your time, then don't go for them. It's not worth it to go for a kill just because they're annoying you. It's not worth it to go for a kill just because they're being toxic. You want to maximize experience, right? You want to maximize how many kills you get a game. If you can't lobby wipe, the least you can do is get a lot of kills. So just don't try and waste your time on somebody who's quite literally outpacing you. Save them for later and get them at their weakest point. If they're going on an objective, then hey, sneak them, get a free kill. Use that Animalistic Instinct to get some bleed off, get them down to bone break, and easy pickings. It's a very effective strategy to just pick out who you want. As much as I say targeting isn't cool, there are some monsters in this game that need to target in order to get wins. Vita Mimic is one of them. If you don't target survivors, you won't get kills, because your damage at the start is so weak that you can't get enough kills in the beginning. You can only do so much. So yeah, I would recommend just knowing how survivors are going to act and picking out who you think is going to be the most biggest problem for you. His skins are alright. They're all really scary looking. They're all really, cool. I find them to be very, just cool. They're not really super unique. They're just really cool looking. I think his only unique skin, in my opinion, is his ancient, which is Bloxer. Bloxer is, it's a Draco Bloxer from the Doors thing. It's Doors reference, Draco Bloxer real, Doors reference real. Yeah, it has a banger chase theme too. I would recommend this as an ancient skin. You should definitely buy this skin if you're gonna buy Vita Mimic too. Yeah, absolutely. His gold is nice. I like his gold. This is my favorite gold in the game. I love it. It's Ghost Rider. Literally, it's Ghost Rider. Look at it. It's sick. I love it. And his diamond's nice too. I really like it. It's a really cool design. I really do think this is a really nice diamond, and it makes me kind of want to get him diamond, but then again, not really. Well, I think it's a good set of skins he has. They're very nice. But yeah, that will be all for Vita Mimic. I think he's perfectly fine in the state he is. He's not stupid overpowered, but he's not super weak. He can be countered if you're very good at juking, and he's a decently strong monster if you're able to, counter survivors and how they act. I think he is a very comfortable A tier. I don't think he's anywhere close to S, because he's not stupid overpowered. He is a very just okay monster. He's just very nice, very strong. Yeah, he's at a level of strength where he can confidently be an A tier. Maybe he's just kind of scratching A tier, really. I wouldn't say he's really strong. I would just say he's strong enough, right? Strong enough to be an A tier, and he's not stupid, and he's not weak where he's in B tier. But yeah, he's alright, and I think that's all for the video. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see ya.